On wrist today is the SLA 059, my gorgeous burgundy dialed Marine Master 300. But behind that is my personal favorite Speedmaster in the entire Omega lineup. Give me this one over the Silver Snoopy. Give me this one over the new Reverse Panda. Give me this one over the ultra hard to get Ed White. This is the completely reworked FOIS, or First Omega in Space. Now, thanks to my biggest channel supporter, Exquisite Timepieces in Naples, Florida, for sending in this Speedy for me to feature. It's because of this AD Exquisite that I have access to so many excellent models from excellent brands. Exquisite carries over 60 brands, so they're a great place to buy a new watch. I've bought from them personally many times over the years. Links are below. Now, why is this FOIS my favorite current Speedmaster, especially when there are multiple excellent references that are currently available? Well, it comes down to two things for me, and I'm going to lay them out. I'm happy to hear your opinions. Tell me if you disagree with me below. I welcome all of that discourse. But the first thing is this watch feels like it has identity. It feels like it almost has a personality, like you know what to expect when you see this watch, as weird as that sounds. And I know us watch collectors can get a little bit weird with certain things in this hobby, but this watch just does not feel like yet another Speedmaster in a different color. It's the combination of this linear case, the no crown guards, the flat link bracelet, the unique steely blue-gray sunray dial, the stepped nature of the dial. It all works so well, and it looks fantastic on the wrist. It's comfortable. It has weight, but it's not overly heavy. It disappears while you're wearing it. It's just really fun to wear. And normally, I'm not a fan of the aged lume, old radium look that this watch has, but I really don't mind it here. The warm tones of the lume, it contrasts the cool tones of that unique dial. Then you take into account the vintage style applied logo, the old school Omega font, the retro style clasp with that logo being proud and going north of the top of the clasp, the thinnest of lume strips on the minute hand, the stark white chrono seconds that stands out, and those bent tips of the chronograph and the minute hands. This watch just oozes vintage class. And again, it feels like it has some personality, some identity. You feel like you know what to expect when you just view this from across the room. And I really like that personally. Now, the other aspect that sets this FOIS apart from all the other Speedmasters in the catalog is, other Speedmasters do this, but I think Omega just nailed it here. It's how they managed to make a very vintage-looking watch that celebrates the storied history of the Speedmaster. They made a vintage-looking watch still feel vintage, but also thoroughly contemporary in the aspects where it matters, where it counts. So this watch has a meta-certified 3861 movement inside with hacking seconds. It has an acrylic-looking crystal, but it's not acrylic. This is sapphire. And yes, it has that signed Omega logo like the old Hesalite crystals have. Lastly, this has a solid bracelet with screw links and a small sliding micro adjustment. So in those aspects, it feels modern, but it's still preserving the vintage charm of the original design. I think that's difficult to strike that right balance. Sometimes it just feels like a one-to-one reissue, and sometimes it feels like it's just too modern and you're losing some of that old school charm. This has the old school charm, but it's tough. I would not be afraid to use this as a daily driver. Take it in almost any situation. It's highly adjustable without a tool when it comes to the travel. It's unlikely that it would ever be magnetized or lose time or receive shock damage. It's visible in the dark with the deep applied lume. It's a tough watch. The only thing that I would not do with this is take it swimming. Yes, this has 50 meters of water resistance, but you just don't take a vintage-inspired chronograph swimming. That's when you strap on a proper dive watch, be it a Seamaster or a Marine Master 300 or whatever the case may be. I'm sure most of you watching this video have several awesome dive watches. No, the only thing that I think could be better with this FOIS, and I might be in the minority with this opinion, but I crave better ARC, and ARC stands for anti-reflective coatings. Yes, I get that Omega is going for the retro look, but give me better clarity. Give me fewer crystal reflections all day long. It helps with at-a-glance legibility. It helps me to be able to appreciate this stepped, beautiful dial, just to an easier degree. So that's what I want. I don't mind the closed case back. I don't mind the polished lug tops of the case. I don't mind the aluminum bezel insert with the dot over 90. I don't even mind the fact that this is slightly smaller than my preference at 39.7 millimeters in case diameter. No, the only thing that I would alter is to add better ARC to the top sapphire crystal. Doing that would make this just the perfect Speedmaster in my eyes. You might disagree with me, that's totally fine. But yes, this watch is on my short list of watches that I personally want to buy, to enjoy, to use, to wear, to see in the collection next to my other pieces. Among other watches, of course, my list it's a decent length. I bet a lot of you can relate to that. You have your own short list of watches you're considering for the next purchase, but this one is higher up on my list. I just think Omega did a very thoughtful job in updating and upgrading the FOIS. I think this is loads better than the prior generation in every aspect outside of the caseback. The last gen FOIS had a gorgeous, very detailed caseback, and this one, it's pretty stark. It's pretty barren, and that's in keeping with the vintage aspect of this design. But anyways, most collectors, I think they go for the standard moon watch or the sapphire sandwich when they're buying their first Speedmaster, and there certainly isn't anything wrong in doing that. I did the same thing. I've owned the classics, but this is the Speedmaster that has my eye after experiencing most of the Omega Speedmasters in the product catalog, either owning them personally or getting to review them here on my channel. This is the one that I think just feels special. But let me know what you think. I appreciate you watching today. Tell me if you disagree and tell me where I'm wrong. I hope you come back for more of my watch content. Thank you.